Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to all. Today I'll be presenting my paper entitled "Do Young People Vape Because They Want to Quit Smoking?" Exploring the reasons that triggered e-cigarette initiation among young adults in Perak, Malaysia. I will begin my presentation by introducing about e-cigarette. There are several questions that we need to address when trying to understand e-cigarette, or its popular name, vape. These questions include: what is e-cigarette? Who invented e-cigarette? Why was it invented? And who are the targets? According to Ramo, Youngwolf and Prochaska 2014, e-cigarette can be defined as battery-operated device that generates an aerosol for inhalation, typically containing nicotine. It is a type of electronic nicotine delivery system, or ENDS, together with other tobacco and non-tobacco products such as cigar, pipe, and shisha. However, due to its distinguished features, e-cigarette became more popular than other devices from the same category. A Chinese pharmacist known as Honlik had introduced e-cigarette back in 2003 as a device that is not only less harmful to people's health, but also to function as a tool for smoking cessation. Based on this point, it is then understood that e-cigarette initially was meant for smokers who are looking for an alternative to tobacco cigarette and those who intend to quit smoking more effectively. However, e-cigarette became popular in no time, and its popularity had attracted many people to try it. Despite it was meant to be marketed for smokers, many non-smokers, including women and children, were seen using the device. Therefore, this study seeks to answer the questions of what triggered young people to initiate e-cigarette. Now let's move on with literature review. According to a study by Rahman, Muhammad and Jamshid 2016, it was discovered that the primary reason to initiate e-cigarette smoking among the participants was to quit smoking. Most of them thought that e-cigarette is a better option to quit smoking, or at least to reduce the consumption of tobacco cigarette. Among the current non-smokers who participated in a study by Al-Kalmi et al. 2016, the main factors that led them to start e-cigarette smoking were cheaper price when compared to tobacco cigarette and curiosity. Other significant factors included friends being the major motivators to try e-cigarette and seeing e-cigarette as more enjoyable than tobacco cigarette due to a variety of e-juice flavors. A study by Boehner, Song, Satfin, Spangler, and Wolfson 2015 identified curiosity as the predominant reason endorsed for trying out e-cigarette among young adults from 3 metropolitan areas in the US, which are Charlotte, Denver, and Topeka. According to the finding too, the never smokers were significantly more likely to endorse this reason than the former smokers and current smokers. Now let us continue with the methodology. This research was conducted using qualitative method and face-to-face in-depth interview. A snowball sampling was employed to identify the participants of the research, who comprised of 10 undergraduate students aged from 22 to 25 years old from Universiti Tunku Abdul Rahman, Kampar, Perak. They were from multiple majors, including public relations, advertising, biochemistry, and business admin. In terms of their smoking status, 7 of the students were ever smokers, either former or current, and another 3 were never smokers. Out of 7 smokers, 2 of them had quit e-cigarette and experienced tobacco smoking relapse. Data was analyzed using thematic analysis, and Atlas TI software was utilized in the process. Findings and analysis. In total, 9 teams were generated to explain the reasons that triggered e-cigarette initiation among the participants. The first tip is curiosity. One of the reasons that triggered the participants to try e-cigarette was the feeling of curiosity. The popularity of e-cigarette as a newly emerging device had generated interest among many people, which then triggered them to try it out. A Malay participant identified as Umar mentioned that he started to grow interest towards e-cigarette after he observed other people's reactions and learned that the device is unique from tobacco cigarette. He said, "Back then I hate e-cigarette too. I used to hate it too. I don't like actually for the first time. Like then, after that came the flavors, like how the flavors actually is very nice. I never vape. When I smelled the smell, I was like, wow, this is like something new. Yeah, something like that. I become curious. The curiosity makes me start, I can say. While Umar was a never smoker, another participant who viewed himself as a heavy cigarette smoker also initiated e-cigarette out of curiosity. Basically, for Chua, he was curious about the amount of smoke or vapor that an e-cigarette could produce in comparison to tobacco cigarette. According to him, I am so curious why normal cigarette doesn't have so much smoke, but e-cigarette got so much smoke. So, curiosity to try and the flavor also. The smell from e-cigarette make me curious. The second theme is e-cigarette features. The unique features of e-cigarette have lured many people into trying it. One participant, Sky, recalled that e-liquid flavor became the main reason he initiated e-cigarette. As he said, the reason why I started vaping is because of the taste. There's a lot of flavors. There is creamy, there's vanilla, chocolate cake, and then many things. Meanwhile, a never smoker, Afai, mentioned both flavors and smoke as the reasons that triggered him to vape. I would like to test the flavors and see a lot of smoke there. Otherwise, no purpose I vape. The third theme is convenience. For this research, convenience is referred to the ability to smoke and vape at any place and at any time. Among ever smokers, the convenience is always compared between smoking and vaping. For example, Chua in his answer viewed that smoking is much more convenient for him because it does not involve procedures like changing coils, refilling flavors, or charging batteries. Therefore, a lot of time he preferred smoking tobacco cigarette than vaping. However, for Sanjeev, who was a former smoker, the decision to use pot vape instead of mod was made due to the convenience reason. When asked what triggered him to try pot, he said, the convenience. You don't have to light up cigarette anywhere like for this. I can smoke anywhere, anytime. Even in lecture, I can just close like that and nobody will know. It's like that. It's very easy for me. I don't have no residue. The fourth theme is follow trend. E-cigarette use was viewed as a trend by the participants. Sky, when asked if he thought that vaping is a trend in Malaysia, answered, it is a growing trend. Afai shared a similar view and added in the fact that vaping was a trend made him want to try e-cigarette. As he said, yes, because even though I go back to my hometown, Kelantan, and you will see a lot of people vaping also. And also, I think I vape at that time because it was one of the trends. The fifth theme is reduce or cease smoking. It is known that e-cigarette was introduced as a tool for smoking cessation. There are many smokers out there who intend to quit smoking but finding it difficult because they already got hooked to the nicotine and could not find the way out to their addiction. One participant explained about his situation and how in the end he decided to try pot vape until he successfully quit smoking. Sanjeev told, because I wanted to stop smoking actually, but I don't know how to stop because it is hard. Every time when I want to stop, then actually the final will be coming and then we will have, presentation. Automatically, when you have all this kind of thing, it's like eventually you will find, let me get the cigarette, you know. The sixth theme is earn money. One of the participants told that he vaped because he is in a cigarette business. Young, who was an exclusive vapor, explained that he had never tried smoking before, but decided to try e-cigarette after he joined a vape business with his friends. He came to realize that in order to be able to sell the products, he needs to try them first. According to Young, I never tried cigarette. Then I joined my partner. Then I think I need to try e-cigarette because I sell the vape. The seventh theme is reduce smoking expenses. Another important reason that was endorsed by the participants is to reduce the spending for tobacco cigarette. Since the government had increased the price of tobacco cigarette, Chua thought that by shifting to e-cigarette, he could cut down on the expenses for smoking. As he said, so basically in the beginning, I used e-cigarette because the normal cigarette is too expensive last time. For Sanjeev, tobacco cigarette is getting more expensive today than it was a few years ago. He justified the reason for him to switch to nano sticks as follow. Because one thing I would say, tobacco cigarette is a bit expensive nowadays. It's like considered expensive a bit nowadays. The eighth theme is safer alternative. E-cigarette was claimed to be safer and harmless to the users and others. Many smokers around the world who initiated e-cigarette use reported looking for an alternative device that could provide similar experiences but with lesser harmful effects. Vimal told that he received a recommendation from a friend who suggested him to try e-cigarette due to his concern about the effects of tobacco cigarette on his health. He said, "Because I thought smoking caused a lot of injuries, so my friend recommended using vape. So I started using e-cigarette and then I bought myself one." The ninth theme is favorable odor. The concern about the smell that comes from cigarette smoking is another reason that has triggered e-cigarette use among many smokers. Without doubt, e-cigarette smoke releases a strong and horrible smell that often makes others uncomfortable. On the contrary, e-cigarettes produce a sweet and fruity-like smell due to its flavored e-juices, hence making its usage around the public more acceptable. The problem of smell was addressed by Sanjeev when discussing about the reason that triggered him to vape, in which he said, "And then one more thing is when, normally when you smoke, you have that odor in your mouth when you talk to people and they become uncomfortable with you." Meanwhile, Chua compared the smell of both by saying, "Because normal cigarette you got pungent smell, but then this e-cigarette is better, smell better like fruity taste." Now we have come to the final part of the paper, which is discussion and conclusion. Among the young people, such reasons as to feed curiosity or to follow trend are commonly endorsed to explain why they initiated e-cigarette. Furthermore, in the case of the research participants, not all of them had smoking history. Hence, to initiate e-cigarette because of to quit smoking or to switch into a less harmful alternative would not be relevant. Despite introduced as an alternative for combustible cigarette, at the end of the day, e-cigarette may serve as a trigger for young people. The limitations of this research include it was not longitudinal and the small number of young adults participated. Longitudinal studies are recommended so that the function of e-cigarettes as smoking cessation tool could be further explored in the future. Higher number of participants that comprise of various backgrounds should be considered in the future studies. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.